Apple is tricking you into buying digital goods from them, and they are choking their competitors. And you don't even realize it's happening. Hey guys, what's up? I'm Christian Taylor, and today I gotta talk about something that Apple is doing that has been driving me nuts. So in order for us to understand the problem and what's going on, we have to first back up and understand what Apple is doing and a policy that pertains to in-app purchases for apps to be approved to go on the App Store. So as iPhone users know, you have to download apps from the iOS App Store. That is the only way to get apps on your phone unless you jailbreak or do some other sketchy method. Everything runs through the App Store. Now, for an app to get approved on the App Store, if it has any in-app purchases, whether that's buying coins in a game or making a donation to the developer or removing ads for 99 cents, those have to go through Apple's in-app purchase system. They are not allowed to use their own system as a workaround, and in fact, Apple's guidelines say specifically, and I quote, "If you want to unlock features or functionality within your app, you must use in-app purchase. Apps may not use their own mechanisms to unlock content or functionality, such as license keys, augmented reality markers, QR codes, etc. Apps and their metadata may not include buttons, external links, or other calls to action that direct customers to purchasing mechanisms other than in-app purchase." So let me explain the problem here. You see, Apple takes 30% of in-app purchase transactions and 15% of them if they are recurring after the first charge. Translation, if you're a subscription service like Spotify or Netflix or YouTube Premium, you've got to either take a 30% hit and then 15% for each month someone stays subscribed, or you have to pass that on to the consumer. And newsflash, companies are not willing to take this hit. You see, a lot of companies for a while were passing it on to the consumer. Netflix and Spotify did this for a while. YouTube Premium currently does this, where if you subscribe through the YouTube app, it is $15.99 a month. Instead of the standard $11.99 a month you will pay if you subscribe through youtube.com on a computer or on an Android device. So you're like, wait a minute, there's a simple fix to this, right? Direct users to the browser using a button. They subscribe via Safari in their browser. They pay on YouTube's website, Spotify's website. No biggie, right? Oh, Apple's smarter than that. Let us read their terms again. Apps and their metadata may not include buttons, external links, or other calls to action that direct customers to purchasing mechanisms other than in-app purchase. What the heck? Apple is literally saying, yo, you must use in-app purchase, and if you don't, you are not allowed to have a button or any text telling consumers how to buy your product. This explains why Spotify Premium is really cryptic when you don't have it on the iOS app. It uses verbiage like, you can't subscribe in the app. We know this is not ideal. And there is no way, absolutely no way, for people to subscribe or know how to subscribe. They just have to figure it out on their own. What this is doing is choking companies like Spotify who use this business model because they can't afford to pay that 30% fee, and it is making Apple money. Notice how Apple has a competing subscription service, Apple Music. And oh wait, Apple doesn't have to pay the 30% fee because they're Apple. Now this has already been taken to court. It's currently being battled as Apple versus Pepper, and this guy is arguing that Apple is going to get in trouble under the antitrust laws for holding a monopoly, since developers have to go through the App Store and have no other choice for distributing their app. Look, I'm not here to get in all the legal drama. I'm inclined to think Apple is not in the wrong because iOS is their own private software, it's not open source, and no one's forcing you to use it. You can get an Android phone, you can get other software that functions in a different way and is more open, but since iOS is not open source and it's Apple's own private software, I think that they are able to regulate this freely and lawfully. Some people argue that this is limiting freedom of speech because developers can't even put text telling people how to buy their service or product. But once again, since iOS is a private closed source software, I think Apple is probably technically in the right and legally able to do this. But things are getting worse, my friends. So the other day, my brother was trying to buy a Kindle book. He wanted to buy an ebook to read on his phone, and he's on the Amazon app, and he's like, I don't understand. Every book just says send free sample. Can I not buy the book? Is the book not offered? I don't understand. And I scratched my head too. I went on a computer and he was able to buy the book on a computer and get it on his phone. And I was like, wait a minute. I know exactly what's going on here. Apple went to Amazon and was like, hey, Amazon, if you want to keep selling books through your app, they've got to be an in-app purchase. Whoa, hold on, Apple. We can't afford to take a 30% fee. I mean, we're already paying most of it to the author. Sorry, tough problem, but it's not our issue. You gotta pay your 30%. So Amazon literally just canned it. You can't buy books in the Amazon app anymore. This is the same with TV shows and movies. Boom, done. Can't buy it in the app. And what are consumers gonna do? They're gonna scratch their head and they're gonna buy it from Apple's bookstore, or they're gonna buy movies and TV shows from iTunes instead. Look, we're gonna keep seeing Apple crack down on this more and more as they transition to a services company, because they really want to push people to sign up for their own services, even if it's out of convenience and frustration and not understanding how other services work. Now look, like I said, I'm not trying to say that Apple is legally in the wrong here. I just want to inform you guys as to what's happening, so you know that there's little things Apple's doing to trick you and frustrate you into buying their own services. Look, Apple themselves is hypocritical. So on Android, you are not required to do stuff through in-app purchases. If it's like removing ads or DLC in a game, you do have to use Google Play's in-app purchase system, but they are much more lenient with allowing workarounds and letting people have buttons and links to let users subscribe to services outside of their app. So I got curious. I downloaded Apple Music for Android. I went to subscribe, and no, it didn't even direct me outside of my browser. Apple just busted out a payment screen right in the Apple Music app on Android to take my card number and sign me up, and completely bypass Google's own in-app purchase system. What? So Apple's literally admitting that their own system is unsustainable and they're not going to put up with it on the competitor. They happily use the workaround that Google allows, but they're choking people on their own platform? If you're not a fan of Apple doing this, then stand up and use other services like Spotify, Kindle, all the services that aren't Apple if you want to. I'm not saying boycott Apple, but I'm saying if you'd rather use Spotify, if you'd rather use Kindle, take the extra time, go on a computer and purchase it that way so you can support these other companies and not just cave into Apple's tricks and buy their services because you're just confused. So what do you guys think of this whole situation? Is Apple getting more and more ridiculous about this? I'd love to know in the comments down below. And if you like this video, do be sure to hit that subscribe button and click the bell so you don't miss when I release new videos. And with that said, I will catch you guys next time.